We want your notes.
Because they don't know we know each other forever. I know.
I have an office number. I don't know that I have his cell number.
I was just a baby.
I can look on his email and see who's got it.
That's it. I was.
Thursday, yesterday, we could be here.
Jeff said we need to do all the dates first so she can go ahead and get the notice to the bulletin, get it published in Sunday's paper.
All right, so I'll declare a quorum call. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Stephanie. We're good. I'll declare a quorum and call the meeting to order. We have a special call meeting. Item number 2 is discussion regarding 2021-22 Brown County budget and related issues. Do we want to do that one, or do we need to skip this?
Let's skip it to last.
She needs to do the dates
I need
and the,
Okay, I heard that. I just wasn't sure if you're talking about this one. I didn't want to intrude on what y'all were talking about. Okay, so number 8 is what you need to, we need to skip to.
Actually, we need to we need to do 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 ASAP. And then we can do 5.
In that order?
Sure, that's fine.
All right, so let's skip item number 2, go to 3. Consideration and possible approval of action regarding set date, time, and location for public meeting on the proposed budget.
Based off the calendar, we may or may not already be late on this, but we want to have enough public hearing, publication is what I'm trying to say, in the newspaper, as many days for that. So in order to cover the days in publication and all of that, we are set, we need to have it on September 13th during our regular court session. And I am right, September 13th.
Hey Jennifer, can you put your microphone? We cannot hear you. I'm sorry. We need to.
I think she's doing it on purpose.
Stephanie, did you get that?
September.
So we want to make fail safe, we'll have that.
Yes, September 13th is when it needs to be done.
Okay,
I move we set the date for the public hearing on the proposed budget for September 13, 9 a.m. regularly scheduled Commissioners Court meeting.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carries unanimously. Item number 4, consideration and possible approval of action regarding set date, time, and location for adoption of a proposed budget. And it's proposed 2021-22 budget.
Yes.
I move we set the date for approving of adopting a proposed budget as September 13, 2021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody have anything else? All in favor? Carries unanimous. Item number 6, consideration possible approval of action regarding proposed tax rate, record vote required.
Hang on, I've got some more. It's a specific wording and it sounds like it's awful, but it's not. I mean, sorry. Go set the other dates and let me go get that wording.
It takes special wording for number 6, so why don't we go to 7 and 8?
Okay. We're going to pause on number 6 and come back to it. Item number 7 on our agenda, consideration and possible approval of action regarding setting date, time, and location for public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 2021-22 fiscal year.
I move we set September 13 as in the Commissioners Court room for the date, 9 a.m. for the time for a public hearing on the proposed tax rate for 21-22.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? You got Joel seconded. All in favor? Carries unanimously. And last is item number 8. Well, I'm sorry, last on the dates is item number 8, consideration and possible approval of action regarding set the date and time and location for adoption of the 2021-22 tax rate.
I move we set September 13, 21 as the date for adopting the tax rate for 21, 22.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Wayne? All in favor? It's unanimous. So we'll just pause for a minute and wait on the auditor to get that.
You can do the salaries, number 5.
Okay. Item number 5, consideration and possible approval of action regarding setting salaries for elected officials. Does anybody have,
Maybe the same date too.
What we talked about doing was either $2,000 or 5%.
I have the actual.
So the, all the elected officials are over 5%. So
Is there certain wording we need for that?
I can't
There
hear
is
you.
none. It was put in it was published in the paper, and we have the public notice here if someone feels like they need to read it into the record, but it was published.
So just put it there that.
Just attach that.
So does that mean no action required on 5?
No, you have to vote to set the, you have to vote to set.
I move we approve the salaries for elected officials,
for the fiscal year?
fiscal year 21, 22.
Motion, do I have a
I got a
second?
question.
Yeah.
Do we, where we're gonna be at then? We haven't talked about whether the radios were or we're not gonna be.
They are coming.
Okay, so we're
We're
within.
not
budget.
in there.
Well, before I vote for that, I want to make sure we're within budget. We haven't talked about that yet. Okay, so yeah, okay, second.
Okay, we have a motion.
Oh, he
Oh,
did.
you did, okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? It's 3, and Sharon, you show me abstaining. Because the juvenile board this year, I'm just gonna abstain on that. Anything else we need to do?
Yes. Just on the elected officials.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so the proposed tax rate, what I was thinking about was adopting, so we just need to vote, have a record vote. If you approve the proposed tax rate of 0.5542.
I move we set the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 21, 22 for Brown County at 0.5542,
What is it then? Same.
0.5776.
So we're 0.5542
Yes, ma'am.
for the total tax rate.
Yes, ma'am.
The tax rate, actual rate is gonna be lower than the previous year.
Right. So it'll drop by 0.2.
The rate drops, yes.
Of course, the
I'll
president-
second that. Is it okay if I second that? Anybody else
I'm
second?
good with it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the tax rate? All in favor? Carried unanimous.
Two.
Yeah, and I do have, I don't know if y'all want to do something about this or not, but I have a last minute request from the county surveyor on budget.
I need you to
He didn't come in and present anything, but he didn't know that he's stumbled into an emergency. And I think that our budget's balanced. I don't think it's gonna be a big deal, but essentially, since we're under item number 2, we're talking about budget issues. Our surveyor has discovered that the surveyor file cabinet has apparently some kind of varnish on it that has destroyed. He gave me the whole list. But yeah, he said you knew about it, but I was gonna show him the list. All of these plaques need to be restored. He
That's the
said-
one for the sleeve and bought all the new
That's
sleeves
the
for it.
ones that the sleeves were
Well,
slick,
Right.
old looking stuff,
And
and they
the-
took the printing off of it.
Right, so it won't happen to any others because we blocked them, but these, he said he thinks he can restore all of these for $5,000 and probably not need that much.
We discussed some of those records were duplicated it. We talked about a year or so ago, or in the
Well, what
tax
happened
in the
is
tax
I bought-
assessor collector's
I
office.
used my funds and I bought the tax sweeps, the new ones.
But I'm saying the ones that are,
That was about 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, but the ones that were destroyed, if there's duplicates perhaps in the, that they can get marked, we gotta do it all. I mean, there was some stuff that we duplicated.
He's got $5,000 in his operating supplies.
I don't think he knew how much he had,
He's
so.
got $5,000 in his.
Is that,
budget for
okay,
operating
but
supplies.
what he's got, what's that, okay, that's not what he bills us for, that's operating, right?
Right, he doesn't bill us for anything, we just pay him a salary now for what,
Okay.
what he, what he collects.
So I'm
As
saying-
as long as we can get him, I don't want these to be lost to
No,
forever.
I mean, he's
as
got
long as-
$5,000 this year and he'll have another one for
I
next
just
year.
talked to
Oh,
him,
that's good.
and I think this is above and beyond what's in there as a fee for
Well-
Well, he
doing work.
doesn't, he hasn't
Yes.
asked for anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's-
He just
That's
came-
different from.
That's what we're doing right
Yeah,
now.
he just came to me I just had a meeting with him.
He hasn't
Since,
used any of
since we have since we're in the black, what I would like to do, if y'all will allow me, is, to give him up to that amount, but I'll watch it, and if he doesn't need it all, I'd like to have that I don't wanna have to come back and ask y'all for it in the middle of next year.
He had contacted me before last week's Monday meeting. I said he could probably come in last Monday's meeting during our budget part and talk about it, but I guess he's unable to show up. He called me like the Friday previous to that. But what I was saying was, some of those records, he's got to go and pull some stuff from Brown County Appraisal District, some stuff he had his own over there, but it's not, I mean, gotta go get, gotta be recopied.
Yeah, and he's apparently invested in the machinery for his own practice, and he's gonna use it to do the county business, so all he needs is, I guess, material, and, that's pretty much it.
I would vote to allow up to an extra
I think
$5,000.
since we're in-
Up to an extra $5,000 if you need to do this project.
Since we're balanced and in the black, that's not gonna be a problem, right? Just $5,000.
Well, we need to talk about that.
That's not an answer I hope to hear. All right,
You have this breakdown in front of you that I make a spreadsheet on the expenses, and I need a verification on what we're gonna take out of that art money. Are we going to, I know y'all approved the 829,663 and the 77,000 that's
Yes.
pending that I have in my hand to pay right now, which is the 907,000 to pay out of those art funds for the radio tower.
right. We're with you.
We've got another $207,000 bill coming.
Okay, when is that gotta be
I
paid
have no
by?
idea because we got one in January, one in May, and one in August, so I'm assuming.
It's supposed to be
before the
when,
end of the year.
it's supposed to be when the project's complete, or a certain percentage complete. I can't remember exactly what. the
Well, we'll have a
budget
balance of, if we fund the computer software, we'll still have you'd ask about this the other day, we'll have, 425,000. And so I would say that 207, I have no problem with that coming out of there. Now, the 1,037,000, that's gonna have to come out of our second disbursement.
It says
I've
paid.
got a 440,000.
It's confusing the way it's laid out, I'm sorry.
I have 433,000 in the budget for that lease payment right now. But if we revamp that lease, that loan lease, then that should
up a little bit.
cut in half maybe. Or if we pay it all off, then we won't have that bill at all.
As long as
But,
we haven't paid anything on that yet, it's okay, the bank has, but as long as we haven't paid any of that prior to the dates that it says we can use the ARP
we
money.
paid that first one in May.
Yeah, we haven't paid anything prior to those
Wait,
dates.
Gene,
I
what's your
just wanted, I wanted that into the record.
513,000. We got the first bill in January for 513,000. We got another one in May for 513,000. We had to pay them, and then we finally got the bank to reimburse us for those later. So the bank is still holding $1 million.
Bank's not paying any of it, we're
We're
paying.
paying it, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's,
we've already paid $1 million, it's a little over.
Yeah, we paid it. We paid half of it.
I don't think you can take that out most of it.
You cannot.
Yeah. So
Well, you said the date was before, what date?
If it was before, Bob, what is it, March
sorry, sir?
Bob was in another word. What's the March date? What's the actual date in March?
So we can pay anything incurred on or after March.
On or after March
And
third
if
of
you
this
do
year?
one of them,
So the January, yeah.
the January one, we can't have them.
Right.
But regardless, if we just still leave the 1 million that they paid already, we can, that would be half the 400,000 that were budgeted in here for the payment.
Okay, well, the only way we'll be able to do that out of this first disbursement is if we do not do the software, because there's just not gonna be enough.
Yeah, and the software, my understanding is that we can pay that out. It's,
Yeah, it's an increment, it's not all of
it's,
them.
yeah, it's maybe like a third of it now.
We could
We hadn't
swing
sold,
that.
we hadn't sold all of them, so.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, we don't have to pay the 1.3.
1.4, that doesn't have to be paid up front.
Isn't that right? Didn't they say it
Yes.
could be like
It could
third?
be like that do it
Some of that's
publicly.
training and everything else that's gonna be a year or so down the road if they
Right.
did, if they did it.
Right, I think it's like a third of it to get started.
And I just wanna reiterate to everybody, we've got another 3.8 million coming. We just don't know exactly what date next year it's gonna get here, but it is coming.
We
So
can do it in increments.
So I can do the final payment out of the ARP fund
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, we do it, yeah.
Hold on, Josie had a question we need to answer.
I can move the final payment out of the ARP funds for sure, and then we'll just have about 1.5 something left out of
I'm
that.
okay with that.
Will that work for y'all? Okay.
I'm all right with that.
Okay.
Gary, you okay with that?
What was it, Chelsea? Tell me again.
The 1,734,305 minus the 207,415.
Yeah, there you
Minus 207,415. That'll leave us 1.1526889.91.
Left in it.
Uh-huh.
Out of the first disbursement.
Yeah, that's fine.
Looks like we're up. You okay with that? Looks like you got everybody.
Can we go back to Don King's thing we did there?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so Don, I'm all for aligning up to 5,000 additional on top of what he's got for the restoration of those plants.
And I'll watch.
I'll just leave it in the miscellaneous and we'll just take it out of miscellaneous if we need it.
But
And it's up to, yeah, I'll watch it if he's not using.
Well,
all
I mean,
of it.
up to 5,000 to do the restoration, because he talked to me and he's trying to tell me about his printer and blah, 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 but there's gonna be some legwork doing that.
And he is using his own equipment to do it, so.
So I don't,
Josie, what does he need to do what does he need to get you to access the 5,000 this year?
he needs to build it.
He needs a bill, he needs to give us a invoice.
Is somebody gonna tell him that?
I mean,
Yeah,
he'll ask
he-
for it
he
this
just-
year,
He runs
then you have
behind.
this year's money, and then the 5,000 next year, and he shouldn't need any
Yeah,
more.
it's 10 total, so it won't be.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, it may not be back anyway, but I talked to him about this, last week. I believe it was.
This would just keep us from having to come back mid-year and readjust it. If it's not used, then we'll pull it and move it, if that's okay.
And if he doesn't know it's there, he's not gonna proceed, probably, you know. If he
You
knows
okay
it's
with
there,
that way?
he'll go and get this done.
Gary, you okay with that?
Alright, now, I need, on the starting salaries, are we gonna stay at where we're at now, or are we going to increase?
He did the ones in the jailers.
Are they, that's the,
That was
because
just-
that's gonna be starting salary for those.
Everybody else's starting salary stays the same.
Okay,
Except the jailers, right?
27,000 for the
Yeah.
clerks, okay. And then the judge came to me about the difference for Bob to go full-time.
Yeah, before, if y'all recall, before the budget, when we were in a shortfall, we scaled Bob back to 29 hours. Now that we're balanced, I would like to, we all know how much Bob does for us. I'd like to move him up to 40. He doesn't need our retirement or insurance, but you sure use him there every day.
Retirement's automatic.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice on that, but,
The retirement, yes, Max.
now Bob is okay doing 29 hours or 40, or wherever we need him, but somebody's always needing Bob because of, he gets us free money. So unless y'all object, now that,
Ain't no free money.
you know what I mean.
There are,
Mini
ain't
strange.
no free lunch.
You know what I mean. Right.
Which
Unless
brings us,
somebody objects, I would like to bring him in at 40 hours.
That's nearly $9,000 extra,
that's how much extra?
9,000, around 9,000.
Okay.
But it's not gonna put us
If
in
it's
the red.
accessible, I can get him to do anything, I think.
So no more Fridays off for you, Bob.
Well,
No more going to Florida.
there's, yeah, there was something else. Oh, he's got another deadline. He's got to get a report by in by
Yeah, he's gonna talk to us about that on Monday.
on Monday because, you know, and that brings up what we're talking about budget. You know, they're saying we can spend this money, and that, spend this money, and that. But you start reading how he's got to classify that as done. It's really,
We
it really,
we spent all morning going over, and he's gonna brief you on his plan Monday.
okay.
So,
And
I
then-
guess that's the question. Is he gonna go to the full-time of 27,000, or is he gonna go to, because his part-time was 17, is he gonna go to?
Whatever the hourly would be for that, even though he's salary out, we were just basing it on.
So that's, I guess that's the question, is he 27,000 full-time, or starting, I mean, since his half-time salary was 17, is he going to 34,000?
It would be double whatever the 20 hours were.
So it'd be 34, so that's what I based it on.
Now, we don't need to do he doesn't need our health insurance and all. Bob's got more incomes than all of us combined.
I wish.
Well, he doesn't need any more.
There you go. And
I don't really want to pay him anymore, I just want him here more often. And then he won't come unless we pay him.
Moving right along.
Yeah,
All right, yeah, I'm sorry.
9,000 figure based on the 34.
The last thing I've got, 2 weeks, just to give you a briefing, met with the Deputy Attorney General yesterday about the opioid settlement. Bob's got all the numbers as to how much they want us to sign on board. Bob's gonna give you a briefing in 2 weeks. It's a substantial amount of money. If you say, and all, when we sign on board, that means we would be promising not to sue
Not to
the
sue them.
pharmacy. Yeah,
not to do
Shane
what?
can explain it as well too.
Yeah, it was like the tobacco.
Oh,
Yeah.
Were
okay.
any,
But I was unaware.
But
of it.
it's
were
a-
any of y'all here when we got that tobacco?
Oh, I remember hearing about it. I think it came up right before I
I'm
came.
still doing reports.
Anyway,
Doing reports.
budget wise, it's not gonna impact us, but it is a substantial amount of money. He'll brief you on it in 2 weeks.
And I believe Matt Data will maybe here Monday week to talk to us.
I'm good. I know you gotta go. That's everything on the agenda, I
Well,
believe.
Monday week is Labor Day.
Labor Day, so it'll be
Well-
Tuesday.
I just said they couldn't get to be soon.
Next week's like.
The next, as soon, pretty
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
We'll have him here within a week or so, within a week or
On
so.
Tuesday of that week,
Tuesday.
we have to.
the 7th.
The 7th.
That's Rosh Hashanah.
Yes, they're gonna attempt to have somebody here within. If they've talked to some people in here, they're gonna try to get back with some answers.
All right, so we covered number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somebody, I see that we've covered everything. Does everybody agree?
To my knowledge, we have, and you're gonna talk to Bob, he's gonna discuss his deal Monday about the report he's gonna have.
Yes, yeah, it works, it's square.
I'm just saying though, when you start reading the report, he's gotta make it. Well, how'd you put this in there?
Yeah, we've got, we settled on 5 categories. We've got a lot.
We're good?
Yes.
All right, we're ready to adjourn?
I guess we're adjourned.
Jennifer? All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you, Judge.
Congrats, Bob.